I'm Adam Rodriguez, and I am a high school CTE teacher in Michigan. And my instructional design project was based around a screen printing lesson that I've created. It's a multicolor screen printing design project here in my classroom at the CTE Center. Here is my report, and the thing that I'd like to talk about a little bit is to start is the learners. And so when we start talking about the learners for this specific assignment, these are my high school CTE students. So we're talking 11th and 12th graders at the high school level. These students are interested in the graphic communication industry. They're thinking about that graphic communications as a career path, at the very least as a serious hobby. Most of them are looking at going into some kind of secondary school, so some kind of college program that teaches the graphic communications pathway. This is their introductory lesson into multicolor screen printing design, and the instructional approach that I decided to take was PBL. I thought that the PBL concepts of solving of problems, real world type problems, and the hands-on approach that this project uses really made sense for what I was trying to do. So the students, so if you look here, there are some four major learning objectives that I was trying to accomplish here. The students will separate the design, the students will create a stencil, and so on and so forth. The idea here is that this PBL approach allows for me to combine a lot of lecture and a lot of lecture mixed with an in-class demonstrations, and be able to kind of chunk it down. And to me, that made it so that the kids could digest the information better. They could go at their own pace using the instructional video that I created in combination with the handouts that I have, the written handouts. So I have screen printing stages with check-ins with me. So there are multiple stages that they need to go through, and each of those stages have a list of checkpoints that I would like them to know. And so with each of these stages, they can accomplish a little bit and then check in with me and get a sign off, and then continue to move forward through the assignment. I think that this is really useful in the sense that they have a really clear sense of the things that I need them to learn, but also it gives them a kind of a timing too. It keeps them on track and on pace with the assignment. And so if they're not through a certain stage at a certain point, then they'll be able to know, like, hey, I'm falling a little bit behind. I need to spend some extra time in Mr. Rodriguez's lab class. Secondly, or actually kind of finally, at the end, they have a chance to do like a peer critique, similar to a peer review, where they're looking at somebody else's project and answering some pretty detailed questions about what they've done, what they haven't done, what aspects of this they've done well and why, etc., etc. This is a report that they'll turn into me at the very end. So let's take a look at, so then also the other part that I've really developed is this video lesson that that they'll be able to have access to in our LMS. And the video lesson in the LMS, I think, has become really useful for them because they can access the video when they need, and the video gives them a visual that kind of connects with these stages of the screen printing process. The hard thing is that when you only have the written piece, then that's really limiting what they get to see. And I have found that my specific learners are really visual learners, and once they've seen me go through that process once, then they're going to remember most of it. Well, guess what? This video, so they're going to see me do this in a live demonstration and lecture, right? But then they have the opportunity to then go back and review the things that I've done in this video. And once they've done that, then they can, and so you can see like there's both digital aspects of this. So they're watching me actually work on my computer using the software that they'll need to use in a little bit. But then also the hands-on stuff in the darkroom, and we're still in the darkroom here doing the different stages in there. But then out in my lab, and then even out in the lab printing here. So we're out on the screen printing press and actually printing ink onto substrates. And so the idea would be that they get the detailed aspects in that video. And so when I do an in-person lecture that takes 30 or 40 minutes and there's all of this information, well, hopefully they're grasping 80 or 90% of that information and then able to go back and use the instructional video as a place where they can kind of recapture some of the smaller details that maybe they've forgotten or missed in their notes or in the discussion that we have in person in class. So I feel like the PBL approach, the instructional approach, is really great for what I'm doing because it has both a hands-on aspect to it, but also it it's really student-oriented and gives them the ability to be in charge of their own learning. In the end, I did a test run. So with the test run, I had an opportunity to have students go through this project with me, and I actually have a couple of examples here of what the students accomplished, and I can zoom in on this a little bit. So students had a chance to go through this entire lesson, and you can see here these are kind of final stages where kids are actually out on the printing press applying ink and making their prints here, multicolor printing project. I felt like it was really successful. I felt like, the feedback that I really got from the kids was that they liked having the access to that video. They liked having, so they told me that the stages were really helpful because that keeps them on track and in order, kind of organized, especially in a big project like this. But then the video was really useful to them. One suggestion that they told me was that they'd like to see me break, if you notice, like this video is 40 minutes and 30 seconds long. They'd like to see me break the video up into smaller pieces. And so then instead of having one giant video, I could have a video collection. Hey, here's my screen printing design video collection, and the students would have access to that. So then when they're stuck on a specific portion of the assignment, they could easily navigate, I need to go back and review how to run the screen printing separation studio for software, and I need to remember all those settings that Mr. Rodriguez clicked on. Well, now instead of digging through that entire 40-minute long video, they'd like to have access to maybe the 5 or 6 minute video that's specific to the studio separation software, and I could label it, hey, here's the pre-press studio separation software segment of my video, and they could access that 5-minute video, click through, see exactly the settings that they need to see, and then shut that down and go over to the software in the classroom, and then apply those settings, apply that knowledge immediately to their project. So I just see myself in the future, maybe this summer when I have some free time, just breaking up my 40-minute long video into 5 or 6 shorter video segments and making that into a collection. That was some feedback from the students, and I felt like that was really a good idea. I'll probably spend the time to make that happen. Overall, I felt like the learning objectives were met. The students did really well. As you can see here in this example, like pretty excited about how successful she was, and I was excited about how well they did. So great project, and I was thrilled with the results. Hopefully you enjoyed this short review of my project, and if you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you, and take care.